What's up everyone, Netherwood here with more Satisfactory for you, Season 2, Episode 8, and what I found out that my microphone does is it just resets itself every time I think I close it, and sometimes when it just decides to. So I have to ramp it up and ramp it back, and I'm not going to ramp it back that much back, I just want to take a little bit of the bite out of it, because it makes the video all jacked and I have to mess with the audio a lot. So anyway, last episode what we did is we put a sink on the quick wire because it's just sitting out there not doing anything, and we also got the hover pack, which you can see I'm using right now. It's been very beneficial in setting up this episode, which is going to be more about the train, setting up the train for the smeltery. I have a couple things I want to do first. One of them, I just made like 200 frames off camera and they're 15 ticks. It just takes forever. You get 2 at least, but I need to make a frames build, so I'm literally just going to slap it in, but not right there. It's going to be more like right here, like that, because I'm tired of making these by hand. I am going to have to feed them by hand, which I think is totally fine, but I just don't want to make them by hand in the base anymore. I can't do it, man. I'm at my wit's end with it. That's wrong. Those are wrong, but they're close, but they're not right. That boy ain't right. Alright, so let's just get this build hooked up, and man, look how much faster this is. We're going to need Mark IIs on that, though, because these are going to have to come in a lot faster. Yeah, this is just much faster. I'm going to get bolted frame because it creates those a lot faster, right? You've got 24 seconds for 2 or 60 seconds for 2, right? So we're going to do this, which means I need reinforced plates and screws. Let's go grab those. I have a bunch of reinforced plates. Let's put them in right now. I think the screws are actually going to be where my problem is. So we'll put those there, and the screws, those are rotors. The screws over here, and then we'll have these guys rocking. Okay, there we go. That is going to help tremendously. Let's get another box down here. Again, I don't really... It's okay, I understand it's not automated, which isn't perfect, but it's better than making everything by hand. You know, I make too many. I used to not make that many of these, but the train mod I have uses a lot of those, so they're actually useful, which is kind of cool. No power, that's fine. Let's extend this out. Actually, I'm re-recording this episode because I had to go do a bunch of research on trains. Trains are not very obvious in how they work. I've done a lot of Factorio, and I really liked it. I've worked with trains a lot there. Trains work a little bit differently here, and so I'll kind of tell you what I know at least about how they work. I haven't actually finished a build with them because I wanted to do that on camera. I didn't want to build the whole thing and then be like, oh, now I know how to do it. I just recorded a whole episode for no reason, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this, and if I screw up, I'll just fix it off camera. So we got that in. Frames build is in, even though it's not going to super help me right now because I just did 200 of those off camera, but hey, it will help me in the future. Now I want to do MAM research, but before we do that really quickly, something else I did off camera was I was sinking excess reinforced plates and rotors, remember, into the sink to get tickets. Well, I finally did the research. I said, you know what, how much more am I going to get out of creating smart plates with those? Because I can just dump them in the smart plate build and just throw the smart plates in the sink, right? I thought, well, it's probably not much more. Well, if I sink one plate and one rotor, which is one smart plate, I get 260 total. One smart plate is 520, so that's double, right? So I'm getting actually double the output by just crafting them in the smart plates, which you can see I've done here. And I've got a whole bunch of them. There's still a whole bunch crafting up in here. Actually, we're almost done with it, and I'll probably put some more in there in a little bit. The sink has been very beneficial with just getting me the tickets I need to build the train stuff that I want to build. I've actually had to pick up a couple things off camera. I picked up double ramp off camera, you know, where this under and over, and then I picked up I want to say half foundation, 4-meter foundation off camera. Let's slap these guys in. They're getting me a whole bunch of tickets. We got 4 in there right now. Let's grab those. That gives us 5. We can pick up something else. I think, yeah, we got them all. Okay. See, watch this sucker go through the roof. Look at that. It just shoots up to like 12K or something like that. So that's awesome. Next thing I wanted to do was MAM research. Now, the train mod, one thing I love about it is that it has an expansion area where you actually upgrade the trains as you go along. And you do that through the MAM. You don't have to upgrade your trains that are on the tracks already, it does that for you. And that's why as you place more trains, the upgrades cost more, because not just because of the research, but because you're actually upgrading the trains that are already in place. So we're going to do a little bit of research there, because these are unlocked at Tier 1, but we're Tier 4 now. So we should really be upgrading these trains. There's really no excuse for us to have... Well, that's weird that it's not... Okay, that's cool. That we don't have upgraded trains. We are pretty good on everything else. Okay, so let's get this research started. Another piece of research I wanted to do is for a new mod I put in called... I think it's called like Increase Hovercraft Range or something like that. Let me look that up real fast. It's going to take a second to load. I'll tell you what it is in a second. But basically, I can use the Mark II and 3 power poles to extend the range of my hovercraft, okay, my hover pack. And that is really necessary because I don't want to have power poles all over the place just to fly around. Now, it's nice that you can actually get power for your hover pack next to rails, but I'm not always going to be next to rails. Sometimes I just need to drop some poles and just be good. Or if I'm in a factory and I'm not really near rails and I'm building some other stuff, I don't want to have poles all over. The Mark II, Mark III poles are going to give me that extra distance, and that also transfers to the wall outlets as well. So what I'm going to need to do then is grab the Mark II poles, because now actually I have a reason to do it. So let's grab that real quick, and now I can make Mark II poles. Those do take Caterium, so why don't we refill our Caterium here. Make sure that we have a good supply on hand. That's done. Okay, now the next thing, again, is progressive trains. So if you notice, cheat trains is not researched. Remember I had this research before? What that does is unlock all the upgrades for free almost. Well, I mean, you can do that if you want. I don't want to do that because I didn't install this mod to cheat, okay? I installed it for quality of life, to get to trains sooner, because I love trains, and just, I don't want to get to trains at Tier 6. I feel like the game is halfway at least over, right? Probably 2/3 over, and I don't want to have to rip out my logistics system and put a whole new one in. I'd rather upgrade as I go along, right? So I had to undo that. Now Jesse helped me on the live stream, which just happened actually between episode 7 and 8, and he said, okay, I figured out how to undo that. He said, what you want to do is uninstall the mod, load up your game, save your game, so it actually saves the information without the mod, right? And then reload the mod. So what that does is like resets the whole mod. So I did that off camera, and now I actually can do the research as intended. So that's what we're going to do here. Again, I prepped a bunch of frames to be able to do this. Let's get faster trains. Probably, I think they're like twice as fast, but they cost more, right? They consume more megawatts of power. Totally worth it, because I need fast trains. I'm going to be loading my smeltery. My whole factory is going to rely on these trains feeding ore into the factory. Okay, you can't do anything without ingots. I was going to do some other things. Why don't we spend some tickets while we wait for that to be done? And I like that it's not 10 seconds. It's at least 30 seconds. Now one of the street lights. It's not really necessary. Let's wait. There are other things that I really need that beyond that. I'd say wall mount 2 is probably pretty beneficial at this point. Quarter pipe extension. That could be really good because I'm going to turn corners right now, and that could work as far as, well, no, I'm going to use the probably the inverted corner pack. Windows, we still need windows, but I'm just not getting them yet because I'm not working on that stuff yet. These frames are going to be good too because I've actually got some ideas with how I want to support the rails and stuff and make them look nice, and I think these frame pillars are going to really help with that. But again, not yet. It's kind of a nice to have. That's just parts. This is just equipment and stuff. Okay. I think we're going to need to get wall power outlets Mark II, and that's really just to fly around the factory. And then windows are going to have to come soon, man. We're going to need those. Lighting, also a good thing. I don't want to have to go back and put lights everywhere. But let's get the Mark II outlets. I think that's going to be most beneficial for us right now. Okay, cool. We got that. Now let's work on the next upgrade, which is going to be to upgrade the wagons themselves. And right now, for each upgrade, you get an extra line of storage in those train cars, okay? Right now, it only has one line. This is literally going to double the size of the train, so this is a no-brainer, or the wagon. The train doesn't carry anything. it just moves the wagons around, right? So you really do need these upgrades to get more throughput through your trains. Because I was thinking, well, if the limiting factor is belt, which it really is, doesn't matter how fast your trains are going, the belt has to get it off the track, right? Then the fastest system is belt, because your trains are not going to be fast enough. And it's funny, but I think you can easily create a factory that consumes everything a Mark 6 belt or whatever would. I don't even know what the max belt is, but the max belt can give you. I don't think there's going to be a time where, you know, you're like, you've got too much stuff to feed your machines. Okay, let's go get some more screws to do this upgraded brake shoes. What this is going to allow my train to do is slow down a little bit faster, so when it has to take a turn, it doesn't have to take so long to slow down before the turn. So we'll get that in a second. I'm probably going to need, let's see, I want to get this too, so that my cargo station slots can hold more. Right now they hold 2 rows, and this will upgrade it to 3 rows, and so it can hold more inventory while that train is going to get more stuff, right? That's going to be easy. That's a no-brainer. Let's get that. Let's go get screws before the other one's done, and we can get that one finished, and maybe we'll do a little bit of resupply at the same time. You can see now I'm almost out of frames. Going to need those for trains and stuff like that. We're probably good on everything else, except maybe reinforced iron plates. Maybe we could use a couple of those. What about rotors? Yeah, oh yeah, we need rotors pretty badly now, actually. So we have to rob these guys pretty hard. Let's get 2 stacks of rotors, and let's actually move this guy back. We don't need him. He's kind of not really helping. Let's see if we got any more. Yeah, let's put a couple more of those in there. Frames? Yeah, nice. I will make sure I have a stack of frames. Okay, let's just leave it at that. How are we doing over here? Usually screws are a problem. We're fine, I think. Good, good, good. Yeah, what's up, bro? Pretty soon I'm going to kill you. Well, he's just going to respawn, so there's no point in killing him. Let's drop these guys in there. Let's get to the next research, because it is going to take 30 seconds. And then we'll see if we can do maybe a little more. Yeah, and these other ones are steel, so we have unlocked steel, but we don't have any steel stuff going on yet. But we'll be able to get those train upgrades when that happens. Do we have any more tickets? We have 1 more ticket. That only gives us 2. But I think it's time to save for windows. Lights are great, but I think we're going to want windows. So why don't we wait for that? So the main research, I'm going to say that's done, because we're just about to finish the last one. I also did a whole bunch of hard drive research off camera on the live stream, which I do every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I went out and gathered a whole bunch of hard drives, as you can see up here, and I've really been working to getting rid of all the trash alternate recipes, so that when we unlock stuff, we can really quickly get the new alternate recipes, okay? We don't have to wait around and consume a bunch of hard drives. How are we doing on concrete? Good. We use plate for tracks, so that's looking good as well. I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to build. I did want to improve the smeltery, okay? Now, the smeltery is not a bad build, I don't think, but it can be compacted a lot. In fact, I can probably compact it into about half. As you can see, I've built a train station just because I wanted to electrify the line here so I can hover. Because remember, the track transports electricity, and your hover pack can get the electricity from the track itself. I did that just to make it easy to build, and I'll show you how I'm doing this other section of it. You can see it's very different. I just spent a lot of time off camera figuring out signals and stuff. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I know how to use them, but I didn't want to build a whole line yet, so it's still going to be some trial and error. Now, another thing I thought about off camera is we're just going to have 1 track in here. We're just going to have 1 track that loads all the ore for us. I don't think we're going to have space for more of these guys, because they actually consume. We actually do need 2 extra spaces for the boxes. So what we're going to be doing, and we can probably put one in. Why don't we put in one of these receiving areas right there? Actually, it's perfect. We're only going to have 1 for now, because we only have 1 line for iron, okay? But we're going to put boxes on this. So when we get industrial boxes, which require steel, oh, actually we don't need as much space. We might be able to get away with just 1 for this if we flip this around. So yeah, actually we can take this out. That's actually really cool. And actually, don't take that out. It's powering the train. Seriously, don't do it. It's going to do it anyway. So let's just do it again. We don't need this, which is good, because that we might actually be able to put multiple lines in here. I'll have to think it off camera. That's going to be better for our system overall, and I should be able to be powered from this guy. Yeah, there we go. But I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, because if we need 6 spaces for this line right here, and we have to go down, right? So actually, the iron should actually be right there, because we don't have to go down. We're already where we need to be. Every time you go down or up, you can't put your train station there yet. You have to actually go down or up. So, and what we wanted to do, if we had to do multiple stations here, is go down so that our box could go underneath the other station, right? How would we do this if we had 3 stations in a row? You can't just belt through another station, okay? That's actually an interesting point. That iron should really be down there, and this should be like Ethereum or something. Because it's going to have the most distance to move. I could raise this whole thing up. I could raise it up 2 more. It takes about, if you think about it, if I raise 4 meters, and I'm doing 1 meter ramps actually, I'm never going to do more than 1 meter ramp on my train to keep it at higher speed. That's just going to take 4 meters to get to traverse. It's going to take 4 foundations to get down 4 or up 4 meters, okay? 1 meter, 1 meter, right? It's 1 meter increments. So if I want to do 8 meters, it's going to take 8. And actually, I could do that. I could actually do that. What if we lowered this? We could lower it too, because right now it's up by 2. It's up by 8 meters. So we could lower this whole thing. Can we get back on the train track right there? Probably not. Because that's not 8. That's not 8 foundations. We'd have to move this back. And we're about to compact this thing down, so I don't know if that's a good idea, to be honest. Let's see what it would take. So if that was the thing, so here's how I've been doing it. Let's go here, and we go ramp, 1 meter ramp. And actually, we're going to have to build out right here. So why don't we build out this, so we have something to connect to. Right, then we're going to go ramp 1 meter. And then we are going to use smart. Can we get there? No. We have to move it out 1 square. Actually, we can move this whole thing back 1 square. I don't see why that would be a problem. That sounds fine. I mean, it should be easy. I know I'm going to loop. Well, no, I won't. Let's just move this whole thing. We just started this. Let's move it back 1. That's not a big deal. Actually, I would need to get up there by that spot. So it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The train station would have to be right there. I think that's fine, because what that allows is the iron train. First of all, I could have multiple ore trains. That would really improve my throughput coming in the same line, because they're separate lines, right? Only iron is on this one line. And the other ones are only whatever they are, right? So who cares if iron's unloading? The other guys can come in and unload too. I think that's smart. I think I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is, that's where I need to connect, because that's that turn. I don't want to do a turn on a ramp. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We gotta kill all this stuff. All this has to die. We're gonna ramp down right here. So that can't be platform. And let's kill this too, down to there. And yeah, see, we kill that guy right there. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is put ramp in right here, 1 meter, and we're gonna go like this. Oops. All the way down. Actually, we need to get rid of this. Actually, see, it's going further. I knew it would be worse than I thought. I want it to connect to that right there. But to do that might take up more than I think. I don't know. Let's try it again. Let's just try it. I haven't really tried it. 2, 1 meter ramp, and let's go down. Let's just look under. Okay, so we don't have anything there. That's why. Okay, we got to go right there. Can do. Can do. That's exactly what I was talking about. Is this not on the grid? Oh, that's right, because this is not on the grid. This is not on the same grid as this. This is the train grid. It's not even on the world grid. I might have to pull this whole thing up. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I should get it on the train grid. Why don't we do that? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to rebuild this. It's not going to be tough because I have smart. Hold on a second. Okay, I lied. That took a lot longer than I thought. I think that took, I don't know. And now my mic, again, I got to adjust it because I can't have it at 100% like that. Let's at least go to 90%. There we go. It took a long time. That took about 30 minutes, maybe more. The one thing about this game is every time you make an adjustment to a larger thing, it just takes hours and hours and hours. And that's the part I think, if I was a developer, I would work on. Because when I want to adjust a giant factory, and I don't have tools to do it rather easily, then I'm not doing it, and I'm just going to go play another game. So, I don't know, something to think about for the developers. More tools to make it easier to do adjustments, and make it easier to move things. Now, I think Micromanage could grab this whole thing and move it up or down. I could have done that. I could have moved it on grid too, actually. Probably should have done that, but I'll have to figure that out a different day. Anyway, so I got the train station set back up, and you can see I did the little ramp thing. I had to move it back a little bit because I've noticed at least, to make these train lines kind of fit a degradation like that better, or an incline, right? You need like one block, really, of flat, and then one block to your next elevation to let the rail kind of bend, and then you get straight line, okay? So I put a little section here, and then a straight section, and then another bendy section. So I needed one extra block right there because I needed to do it before I did the turn right there. So I moved it back that far. I've also given it 2 blocks of space. This guy will be going down 4 meters. Then the middle platform will be just level with the train platform, train level, right? The train height. And the last one will dip down and then come back up. So we're going to have 3 different levels here so that we can pass all the ingots and stuff in that we want. And I've already set this back up and everything back up. And here, I wanted to show you my new setup for smelters. I could have built this on camera, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I could have built it off camera, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it on camera so that I can kind of show these guys what I was thinking. Is that I can make this really more compact by just putting the splitters and the mergers underneath. You know, like I did basically in Season 1. Why didn't I do that? So that's what we're going to do. I think it might be best to do it like that. I think the lifts will connect better than like this. I think it's just going to look better too. But what I'm going to do is line it up here first. That looks really good. I like that. It's also going to give it a little bit of space in between. And man, it's just lining up perfectly. I don't know how it's doing this. A little bit of space in between the merger and the splitter. Now, this isn't going to look good because I've micromanaged this block above it, okay? This one pad. And I'm going to be putting supports in. I just don't have any tickets to get supports. I want to put like those iron, I think either iron metal poles, or the just basically structural stuff that I can unlock with tickets. But that's going to be a way better build right there. So let's just put that in. And then we'll get moving on the rest of this thing. I just wanted to show you what I was doing before I finished this, so it wasn't like... I don't want to do everything off camera, right? I just want to do a lot of it off camera so I can keep things moving. Let's get this guy in the way I like it. I think I did it like that, right? Yeah, that's how I did it. I don't... yeah, it is lined up. Okay, cool. This should actually do that. And let's get the mergers in now. And they're going to have to be on different belts, too, because this is actually... what I put in is what I get out. So I really have to have separate lines for everything. The one merger is not going to be enough. So that's also another benefit of this build. I could have moved it closer together, but I don't think it's going to be helpful because there's going to be these, the lifts are going to be there, right? So why don't we get these lifts in? Yeah, it's receiving and it's giving, right? So that's perfect. Wow, these are just snapping right in. I don't know if that's smart doing that or what, but it is super pro. It's nice not to have to screw around with the lifts. That makes building so much faster. Look at that. Now, the reason it's doing what direction is just because it already knows what direction it's already telling it. So that's a much more compact build. I like it better. And I don't have to have, create tons of flooring and all that stuff for the logistics area. Now, what I am going to do, I want to put some ramp right here. I just don't know if it'll fit now. Let's put it back here because it did snap in a little bit easier here. I don't really care where it snaps in. I just want it to snap. And then what I can do is put a railing right here. And I got a zoop. Oh, that's actually perfect. That's actually perfect. And then what I really wanted to do is probably delete it right here and move this up. There, that's better. The stairs, yeah, I don't want to stick out that far. That's really cool. I like that. That is much better. So let's extend it all the way out. I don't know where this is going to end. I'm going to leave myself 2 spaces for just like beautification, doors, just walking area. I don't want to take up too much space. This next build is going to go pretty much right here, though. There's not going to be much space in between it. Just enough, I think, to walk, right? There's going to be like this much room to walk around. And that's going to be that. I haven't figured out power yet, so let's just use the power poles behind these guys for now. I still have to figure out how I want to actually do inside the factory over here. I haven't had time to do that. I've really been worrying about trains and stuff. So let's just get that in. That looks about right. And we'll just hook these guys up to power just so they at least work when we want them to work. I also need to reset them back to iron. But for now, we really only need 4 of these because we actually could probably do 8. But let's do 4 for now because that's actually going to be 120. So I do... Oh, setting copy-paste is working now. I don't know if it was always working and maybe I just wasn't seeing it. But 120... Actually, no, I'm doing... That's right, I could set up... Well, we'll set more of them up later. I want to get this train working. We don't have a lot of time. Okay, so I'm going to hook this in on camera. I wanted to finish the line on camera. I'm just going to bring it down and go like that. We're going to do 1 car for now. I can expand this at any time. And I'm going to leave at least, I think, 4 cars. I don't know if I can do... Well, iron needs 4 cars. Iron is going to be the majority of what we process here. Because iron is used in steel as well. And steel's used in everything. Copper, Caterium, not used as much. In fact, they probably will only be 2 car builds. So whatever's left is probably going to be iron. Let's be real here. So that guy's set up. Let's set his name, which I think I did. No, that's right. I did it on the previous video. That is not it. And I wanted to unload, right? That's where you set that. Again, now this is 3. We just unlocked an additional line here. When I was recording episode 8 for the first time, it was only 2 lines, actually. So I expanded that. Nice. We're getting pretty close to needing to expand our coal plant. That'll be pretty easy. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is destination. This is a destination. Smeltery. Iron. Okay? And then you have to hit enter to rename it. Boom. Okay. Now we have a functional train system. Destination, smeltery, iron. The reason I name them that way is when I'm out in the world, and I can't just look up a train, right? I just want to look at the train list and go, oh, I know right where that train is. I know exactly what it's doing. I did that in my Factorio Season 2. Worked out really well. Okay, so we've refitted the smeltery. It actually looks tighter, and I like it a lot better. Much more clean. Again, I will put in the structural supports probably like right between them as we have time to do that. This is really just to power this thing while I was working on it, so let's get rid of that. I just wanted to power the whole train so I'd actually be able to hover all around here. All right, let's get rid of that. How are we doing on resources and space? Good. So what I've done over here is kind of set the whole thing up. I've got a double ramping system kind of right here. I've got the inside and outside line like I talked about before. But I didn't want my outside track right here, the local track, to interfere with the global track. That's what I'm going to start calling them. I was crossing over the global track a bunch. I didn't want to confuse the system, but more importantly, I didn't want my global trains that are trying to fly around the map really fast to have to stop and wait for a local train to go by. I didn't want that to happen, okay? Well, a train to go by off the local track. So I raised this up. Now, normally I probably would have lowered it because now my global trains are going to have to slow down. I don't want that. I want the global track to be as fast as possible. But, so normally on other basically off-ramps is what you're seeing right here. I'm going to lower the off-ramp so that the train that's going to slow down anyway is slowing down to turn and all that stuff, while the global trains are just still speeding by, no problems, okay? So I've started setting up the intersections here, and I have not set up the blocking, so let's go actually do that. And I can actually get a little bit more speed by just doing the jump run thing, so let's do that. Now, The signaling system in this game is actually not that difficult. The problem really with it is there's no documentation that I know of about it. Maybe there is there might be actually videos about it. I watched about 4 or 5 tutorial videos. Most of them were bad. They did not explain trains very well, okay? They didn't explain the signals in a very, very basic way. The signals don't tell you anything, so it's really all about, when you do a tutorial video like that, it's really all about explaining what you're doing on a very, very basic level. I've been in IT for thousands of years. I've talked to the business a million times about stuff like this. You got to make it really simple, okay? You got to be able to translate what you're doing into basic English, okay? So this is a block signal. Now, block signals, just like a lot of other games about trains and in real life, blocks signals create chunks of track that a train is allowed to be in. That once there's one train in that block, no other train can enter that block until the previous train has left the block, and you'll see the block signal go green, okay? So that's what we're going to start setting up. Now, you want enough blocks so that you can have multiple trains in the same area, but not so many blocks that you get a lot of traffic in there, or your train is too long and is covering multiple blocks. You kind of don't want that either. So we are going to put just enough blocks in, I believe. Now, I'm going to start my blocking by doing it there, okay? I'm also going to add another block signal. Now you can see that this whole thing is one big block. That's not going to work. So if I put one train down, no other train can ever move in there, and neither will my train, because now I get 2 trains in the same block. So what I'm going to do is come over here. Before you even enter the system, I'm going to create another block over here, okay? So I'm going to well, it really doesn't let you just create it wherever you want. I'm going to create one right there. Okay, now it says, hey, this block is available. Nope. Okay, here we go, configure. Block clear. That means you can go in. Okay, now it says this other big giant block is clear. We only have 2 blocks. We need more blocks, okay? So we're going to do that. But this is the first thing we want to set up, is the block that is going to feed your station, okay? Now what's going to happen is if the station's full, the next train that comes in will stop right here. So actually we're going to move that up, because what if we have 4 or 5 train like cargo dudes in here? This is not going to be enough. So why don't we move it up to the next spot right there? And now what it's going to do is, if I've got a one ore cart in there right now, one ore train with a bunch of cars, let's say, the other guy will pull in off the main track. It will get out of the way of the other cars, of the other trains, and will pull in and stop right here. So he'll be waiting for this station, which is great, but he will not be in the way of like copper or caterium trains trying to come in here, okay? So you got to be thinking about all that, and that's why it took so long off camera to build this whole system and kind of figure it out, okay? Let's get some more block signals. We're going to put another one probably over here. I want a train to be able to leave the station, but wait in case if there's a train waiting to get back on the system, I want another train to be able to file in right here to wait as well, and then have another train come in and feed in the ore. Now, if that happens, I've got a big problem. There's no doubt. But it's a good idea to do that. Okay, I want enough blocks so that I can have trains waiting to do things. Maybe I just have one that's just waiting to go by, and then all my trains can disembark, okay? So I'm going to put a block there. That's going to signify that we're going into a bunch of interchanges, okay? And I'll put another thing there in a second, but we want to back up and leave another space for a big giant train. Okay, there we go. Another thing to know about blocks is they have to be on the side that's basically, this was set up by an American company, so it operates like an American system. The signals on the right indicate the flow of traffic, okay? So this block right here is only going to go outbound in this direction. All my train tracks are always one directional. I found in Factorio that's the best way to keep your throughput high, okay? So these trains are going to come in on this track, go into the station, and come out on the same track. It's all one way. Everything I do is one way. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a block signal right here, and you could have a 2-way train, right? That'd be a 2-way track. But that usually leads to a lot of congestion, and it's not usually a good idea for larger systems. Like, this is going to have multiple trains. If you just had one station, you could have a train pull in and actually could go back out that direction. You'd need a locomotive on both ends, which I don't think is a good idea. Again, you're adding complexity and all these other things. But you can do it if you have to. Now let's talk about what do you do when you have an intersection like this. And this is the hardest part for me to figure out, okay? So you can add a block here, which I think is a good idea. Okay, so we're going to have a separate block in this spot right here, and then going forward, right? So we've got a block here, another block there, and another block there. What this is going to allow, and then we're going to put one actually here too. We're going to put one right here as well. Okay, we're going to block off this whole thing basically. We're going to put another one right here. Well, I can't because it's like right in the middle, and I might have to... Well, I can't because I'm actually going to have a tube going through there. So I might have to put this block over here or something. Will it act? Yeah, that's fine. We'll put the block... Oh, yeah, I'm going to need a block probably right here. I can just... Well, it's going to be an unsupported block. I could put catwalk there. But I need hypertube space. I really want to support that block, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it. So what we're going to do... And I actually don't think this is going to work. I think I need to do this a different way. I think we can only have 2 blocks in here. I don't think we need this one. I'll tell you why in a second here. And this is kind of why I wanted to make my track... I wanted to bring the global track up so that I didn't have so many tracks crossing each other. Because I'm going to put in a new signal here. Now, this was the hardest one to figure out. This took forever to find someone that could tell me what this signal does, okay? I thought this signal was supposed to be on this side of the track. If you do that, it's going to be for this direction, not this direction. All your signals for the same direction have to be on one side. So I'm going to put my path signal over here, okay? And you actually can aim at the previous place, and it'll put it right there. See how that thinks it's going this way? If you touch the track here, it's going to place it right there. So this is a path signal. Now, a path signal says, I need to know that everything is clear from my signal forward, and then including the next block, and including the next block. So we're going to have to actually block this off relatively quickly. Okay? Actually, I think it just says my signal and the next block. This ends the block, and that goes to the next block. It's the next 2 block signals. So that this is clear, then I'll go. I'll just add another block. It doesn't really matter. I think it's probably fine. Let's just take this out. It's okay to have longer signals. I'm going to do that. Let's run it... Actually, let's run it the original way I said. We'll see if it works or not, because I'm going to run this train eventually. So now I've got this path signal say, hey, check the next 2 blocks and see if they're clear or not. I don't know which path I'm going, actually. If you go like this, it says waiting for path reservation. So what this signal does is it says, hey, I can either lock up the next 2 blocks here or the next 2 blocks all the way out of this turn, okay? You have a train coming, and the train says, I need a path. I need you to lock up some blocks so no other trains can come through. And this path signal says, okay, well, where do you want to go? And the train says, okay, I'm going left. And the path signal says, okay, I'm going to lock up this block and that block. Those are going to turn red. Now, other trains coming in that says, hey, I need a path, the path signals are going to say, well, you have to wait because these paths are blocked. You can't go through there. So if we put a path signal here, right about here, it's going to lock in real quick. Yep, right there. Oh, get close to the path here. See how it's green now? It's ready to receive. And that's really good. I don't know why this is red. It might be too big of a block or something like that. But it says, okay, now it's able to check the next 2 blocks. This is like a chain signal in Factorio, okay? A chain signal in Factorio would check the rest of the chain signals. All of them had to be clear in order for that train to be able to go through. Now, if I had more than 2 blocks, instead of a block, I'd put another path signal here. All right? Because you can chain the path signals. So if this was a path signal, let's say, the last path signal always checks the next 2 blocks. So if this was a path signal, it would check this block and whatever the next block was. If it was way down there, it would check that. So you want to make sure for your intersections, I like to keep them tight. I think that's going to work for me because I don't need a big section just totally open, okay? Now, this also takes into consideration velocity, okay? If your train's moving really fast, then you might want to have longer blocks actually. It's actually going to start reserving it way ahead of time is actually what I heard is going to happen. So, okay, I think that side is set up now for this intersection. So the other kind of intersection we can have, right, is over here. Actually, no, that's coming in. we can actually, yes, see, this is saying, hey, wait, this doesn't work because I have 2 ways to get into this block. It says, hey, this is not going to work. So we need another block right here. And I think we need another path right here. We're going to put another path. As soon as it decides it wants to snap in. So we're gonna do it right here. See, it says, hey, check the next 2 blocks. Now, I think I might need an actual thing right here. I might need a path signal right here. This actually might need to be a path signal so it can check the next 2 blocks. That's probably what's going on here. Let me check it. Block has no exit signal. It's probably just because it runs off into the nowhere land. I'm probably just going to loop this around for now. Not that these trains will ever turn around, but I think we should just do something like that. Well, we can't. You actually don't have to signal the areas that aren't going to be doing anything, but let's just do it anyway. Let's just get the track to be round for this purpose. And let's go out, I don't know, 3, and then we'll build all the way over. We'll just delete this later. I just need something that connects the tracks. So let's go up in here in the middle. And that's turning too much. There we go. Let's just turn these around. This actually probably won't turn around. That's too tight. I don't know how we're going to do this. Well, it's not connected to anything right now anyway. I don't have anything on the global track right now anyway. I'm going to be hooking the local into the global down there, so it's not going to matter. Now let's see what it says. It says it's good. You can read it from the other side. It says, oh, okay, this block ends over here at the path signal. Now it says I have an end destination, right? You can't have open-ended track if you have a signal on that track. So we've got this intersection done, okay? This guy is going to check the next 2 blocks, that guy and that guy. And actually, I think we can do it without this. I don't think we can. I'm going to put it back in. I think the intersection's not going to allow that. We're going to try it, though. All right, I think we have all the signaling we need there. So why don't we go down here and do the same thing down here? Am I... Okay, this is sprint speed. We don't have that much time left. Well, we have 20 minutes, so it feels a lot longer. It feels like we've been recording for a lot longer. Let's go fix this. And then I'm going to draw the track down, and I'll meet you in the other area. We got to set up the train to Busan, which is really just ore, okay? But let's set this up first. Now for this one, the local track is again going this way because I'm American and we drive on the right, and so I'm doing everything on the right. We're going to need first a path, remember? Because we already figured out that we need a path first, and I believe we can put now a block right here. Yeah, we can put a block right here. Now we're going to also put a block right here. Now this path has 2 blocks. So it says, I'm good, I know what I'm doing. Now we're also going to need a block on the other side so it can go this other direction. In fact, it should be actually erroring out. Why won't it work? Okay, that's the next block. That's fine. It's a little bit lengthy, but that's fine. Now I could do another block there. No, because it's coming in now. Right, there's a block there. We're going to need one probably right here. Let's put a block over here. Because now we got to come in from this side, right? Now that block goes all the way down that way. We're going to put another block in about halfway. Because we might have trains that are kind of going to wait around. So we need another block. I would say about right in here. That's probably good. And maybe one over here. Let's split this block up. It's too big. That block runs from all the way from that intersection to here. You can only have 1 train in there. That's not enough space. So why don't we get in there? We're going to split that block up. Now we have 2 spaces. And it's not really... Yeah, it's probably even. It's the same on the same side. It sounds good to me. So now we're going to want another block up here. Because we're going to put a path right there. And I think we should put probably a block right here. Oh no, there's the next one. That's good, actually. Let's change this to path. And as soon as we can get it in, we're going to get one here. And wow, it's really kind of far back here, but that's okay. Can I put it one in any closer? It seems really far. No. So what this says is... Oh, and I need to go do something real quick. Hold on. There's a guy right outside, so hopefully it doesn't affect the video too much. Hopefully the noise removal will get that. So This path signal says, okay, if I go through here, that block and that block, if I'm going straight, have to be clear. And if they are, this path signal will say, yes, you can proceed. Or if the guy says, hey, I'm going into the ore processing area there, he says, okay, I need to check this area, and then this block, and then this block, okay? And if they're all good, you can go. So I think we're done there, right? We only need that way, and then we need that way. Now, yeah, because then it's going to go all the way around and come out that side, right? So I think we're done. We only have 2 ways to get into this track. It's either from there or from there. Now we also, yeah, we already have our going straight, right? But that has no exit. We will fix that in a little bit, remember? Because you can't have a track that just has no exit. Let's put some more blocks in here because I want to make sure that we don't say, this whole thing is a block. There's a train waiting there, you know, you can't come in here. So what we're going to do is block it off before it goes in the turn, okay? Obviously, if someone's in the turn, I don't want anybody there. But we want to do that, okay? And I'm actually going to... Actually, we should block it right here. Because I think it works... No. I think it works the way we thought it did. I think, yeah, see, if you look at that, if you look at this block, it's purple. When you do this, it creates a white block. This lavender block. So it's creating a new block ahead of itself. That means actually what we want to do... I think both of these are fine. I'm going to leave both of these in there. Because what it's going to do is when it's coming this way, it's going to say, hey, is that available, right? And then if it is, it says, hey, yeah, it is. Just keep going. There's a train right here. It won't be able to proceed. It'll stop. Now, we don't have trains that big, so actually what I'm going to end up doing eventually really is putting a path signal here that's going to check all this right here. Like, this is going to say this path, and we'll just put it in now. That's pretty far back. I really don't want to do it so far back. Is there another? Yeah, okay, let's do the block up here. Nope, wrong. I don't want it to come the other direction. This is not that kind of train, bro. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to say, okay, hey, is this whole thing available? Yeah, is this block and that block, all this stuff available? I don't think I need a path signal here, except that I'm going to change direction. I'm going to keep going and go around. Right now, we don't need one, but I'm going to keep it like that. It should be fine. We'll figure that out later. I think this thing is properly blocked now. This area is. I probably need one in the middle, because that's a really big block, and I don't want it to check this whole thing if it doesn't need to. So why don't we put a block there as well? It gives us some space to have a train in the middle. I don't like... Really big blocks are just, generally speaking, a bad idea, because you can lock up your whole system just by having a train on a really long stretch of track, right? So right here, I did not finish the structure, because I might want to use something really cool that I haven't unlocked yet. I'm trying to think about what I want to do. I put some pillars in right here, but if you look at it, the pillar with this other concrete looks kind of crappy. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. But I think this looks pretty slick. I like it. Anyway, yeah, well, we only have 10 minutes. Why don't I finish the track up right here, and we'll go over to the other side, and I'll start talking about what we're going to do picking up ore. But the next episode is going to be creating the ore station, getting it all hooked up, and then...
Your contract legally compels you to harvest this artifact.
No, it doesn't. I'm not harvesting you. I've told you that many times. Anyway... And then the next episode, probably, unless we can do it in one episode, probably can get the ore station in one, and then we'll put the train on and see what we can do with it, okay? So, hold on a second, let me get this track in. Alright, there's one more thing I wanted to show you, so you might actually run out of time. And let me... Stupid mic. I wanted to show you this simple interchange that I decided to do between my global track and my local track. Every time I have an exit point, I'm just going to put an interchange. Because what the game does is figures out the shortest path to get to where it's going, okay? So for areas of the internal loop, I'm going to have a lot of interchange in here so that it can get on the global track or not, whatever is actually faster. So as you can see right here, I left 4 foundations to do this switch. And I'm really just taking it, and it really would be from here, from like the local loop, right, over to the global loop, or vice versa, right? That's what I want to do. And then I also, well, really, yeah, it would be global to local. There's also going to be local to local, right? Doesn't mean, you know, we're not only doing an exchange here. We might just stay on the global line, right? Or we might just stay on the local line. I don't know. But this gives us lots of options. Now, how did I signal this? And you can see these are messed up, but that's because they're blocks that do not have exits. So let me show you how I did this real quick. I put basically block indicators right here and here, right, to indicate the beginning of the block, and then also on this side, like this. And that created 2 more blocks. Now you can see this block runs way out there, so I'm going to have to actually create more blocks up there. My global track doesn't have any blocks. Now the next thing I did is say, okay, and see this is actually complaining because I don't think there's another block actually. It's too far or something like that. Now I'm going to pick up a path signal because I'm going to have to read 2 blocks. So this pathing signal is going to read, and actually it can't because it doesn't have enough track. So let's extend this out. And that got me my power, which is perfect. Right? Let's extend both of these out. And then let's pick up that pathing signal again. And it's going to say, hey, I need to check the next 2 blocks to see. That's a block signal. That's not a pathing signal. I need to check the next 2 blocks to see if I can go through. Now the problem over here is I would imagine that this guy is actually not able to pick these because this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So if you want to go into the global track right there, actually come. Yeah, you want to go onto the global track. I don't think you could be able to because that block signal is freaking out. You can't do it. But we also are going to want to do, in case we want to go global to local, right? We need another path signal right here. It's going to check both of those, depending on which way we want to go. Now, I can go from global to local. That will work. But global to global won't work because this says, I don't understand what's going on. I got too many. I got some weird things going on. Actually, there is no end to this, right? It's just an empty track. So it's saying, hey, I have no exit. I bet you that's the error we're going to get. Yep, block has no exit because it's just an end of a train. Now, I think the end of a rail would need to be a station, and it's saying, hey, there's nothing here. I don't know what to do, okay? So that's going to be my just interchange I'm going to do like before these turns and stuff like that. And actually what I'll probably end up doing is lowering, actually, I don't know if I'm going to keep everything local on this piece. I think just in between major areas, I'm going to go global, okay? That way the traffic coming from way across the map or something like that can just go on the global line. There's going to be nothing in here, I don't think, that goes local. There might be some other local stuff over here, I don't really know. Like Caterium actually might, so this is actually good. But I'm hoping that the iron ore that's going to be over here will go on the global track because I think it'll be shorter. I don't know, we'll see. And I'm hoping it also picks which track has less traffic or is not as blocked up, right? I don't care if it goes local as long as it doesn't create traffic. But this gives it some options, and that's going to make my track go faster. In fact, because it's going to go in and out too much, it probably goes straight for the global track. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's going to have to do it for episode 8. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. Please hit the like. Put your train tips in the comments section, please. I will read those. I'm still new with trains, and I want to know everything I can about them so I can make a great train system. I will see you on the next one. Stay frosty.